So my mum was the matriarch of our family. She always knew everything that was going on. She had 4 children, 8 grandchildren. She knew what we were doing, important events that were going on in our lives, insignificant events that were going on in our lives. She was always there if we needed to fall on her. In September 2020, Mum had some swelling on her arm. She started crying, and I can probably count on my fingers the number of times I'd seen my mum cry. And I was like, what's going on? And she said, I need to go to the doctors. And she said, but I know it's bad. And so she just knew from the outset it wasn't, something wasn't right. We went to the doctor and we found out that it was triple negative breast cancer. So they made it very clear that this was an aggressive form of cancer and the treatment options were more limited. When we were told that nothing more that could be done and it was terminal and really there was only weeks left. By this point, she hadn't been eating, she was in pain because, you know, we didn't have the right amount of drugs or whatever to deal with it at home, and it was just too complex and she didn't want that on us anymore. It seemed like the longest journey ever to the hospice, and we followed my mum and dad. And then I remember the second we arrived and Kersha came up to us and said, don't worry, we're going to look after you. And from then on it felt better. Literally from the second we walked in there, all of us, me, my mum, my brother, my dad, all of us felt more relaxed. She had a beautiful room and the garden, and just, yeah, it just put us all at ease. So one of Mum's favourite times of the day was she'd get taken off for a bath, and she'd be able to use all her nice products that we had brought with her, and the nurses would take them with her and play her favourite Motown music. And she used to come back and be like, oh, that was a bliss. That was like her favourite thing. I think the hospice gave us the opportunity to become even closer. I did never actually probably thought that that would even be possible. We could sit there and we could lay and watch TV like I was a teenager again, laying on the sofa with my mum watching television at night. I haven't done that for years, and hold her hand, and I could pay back a little bit and look after her for probably one of the first times ever. Whilst Mum was in the hospice, one of my brothers was expecting his 3rd child. Within a few days, everyone in the hospice knew that this baby was on its way. There were concerns that my mum wouldn't meet the baby, but she was determined to meet the baby. And she did meet the baby twice. And she held her for hours and hours and just sat there and just looked at her. It was just the most precious moment for my mum. We were at the hospice for about 5 weeks in total. My youngest brother was the one that was staying the night when the nurse said, I think, you know, we're coming towards the end. I remember arriving then, and that's when I think me and my brother just sat there and stroked her hair and stroked her face. Her breathing just became like deeper and slower, and then eventually there were longer breaks between it and she fell asleep. And it was very, very peaceful. If someone had said to me 2 years ago that I'd be sitting here and wouldn't have my mum here, wouldn't be speaking to her every day, I would have told them I wouldn't get through that. I think about her and miss her every single day. Every time certain things happen and I think, oh, I want to tell Mum, it makes me miss her. But I'm also really grateful for what we had and the quality and how fortunate I was to be so close to her.